So, where do I start? Let's go back to the beginning. What you all were talking about, getting the legislators here, which we've done and you're doing again. My early lessons were to tell them everything they don't know. And I used to kid one particular guy, he's not in the legislature anymore because he knew so much. I would say his name, I would say, what's the difference between a furlong and a fetlock? They never answered that question to me. And I said, you know a damn thing about racing. You think you do. You've got to educate them every chance you get. But don't tell them something you need. Tell them something you do. Tell them what it's like to experience what you do all the time. They don't get it. Now let me tell you something else. They think we're all rich. Some of you are. Some of you aren't. They think you're from the Eastern Panhandle. I've heard this. I've been appointed by every governor since Arch Moore. That's how old I am, 74. Every governor since then. Democrat, Republican, I don't give a crap. I'm an independent. But they all think, boy, you all heard the same thing. You don't need an Eastern Panhandle. You got this, you got that. That's where all the people are coming. By the way, we're seeing something a little different, closer to heaven than you think. It's in the beginning of heaven. That's what Shepherdstown is. But that's another point. But they think you've got everything because of what your money is. And if you check the tax records, where's the wealthiest part of the state of West Virginia? Based upon Forbes magazine a year ago, they listed every state and every zip code, the wealthiest part of that state. What zip code do you think they use for West Virginia? 25443. That's Shepherdstown. That's a fact. That's a national historical fact. And if you all check the records of the state, South Charleston used to be the first richest part. Now it's Shepherdstown. So how do we capitalize on it? You have to tell these people who you are, what you're about, what you do. Go for the heartstrings. Then listen, I've done it. But they think you've got it all, and you don't because they don't know what you do. So the vets, talk to them. Tell them what it's like to be a vet. Now, I'm going to talk about highs in a minute because I could talk about that for an hour. But I encourage you to talk to these people. Treat them like people. And again, don't ask them for a darn thing other than please come back. Need something, let us know. Come on. But tell them what it's like to be in the business because they don't get it. Again, talk about a furlong and a fetlock because I guarantee you they don't know. Ain't got a clue, Tim. They don't know what it is. No clue. I wish up to HISA if I might. We worked long and hard on HISA. I call it HISA because HISA sounds like a snake and I don't like the thought of a snake.
It is a snake.
In my humble opinion, it was a mistake from the beginning the way it was done. A lot of it I agree with. And I've been in meetings more places than you have any idea. And on the telephone more times than you can imagine. And given speeches that I really ticked people off, but I didn't care because I told the truth. From one country, one part of the country to another part, I ticked them off because I'll give you my version of what HISA is all about. In my opinion, off the record, we're not on the press is not here. In my opinion, this all started at Santa Anita. How many catastrophic breakdowns did they have? 43 or 37. Horses destroyed, people injured. That's where it started. But I have reason to believe, and I've met people in all parts of the country talking about this, I have reason to believe that somebody out there cut a deal with PETA, the animal rights people. Let's just say it wasn't the track service. We'll fix that. Say it was the drugs. People have told me that's what happened. And I become friends with people, and I don't tell everybody who they are, anybody who they are. But that's what I believe happened. So PETA out there, by the way, let me tell you another thing that was interesting. But the last speech I made and by the way, I'm on the board of directors of Racing Commissioners International, and that's fun with foreign countries, let alone the United States. But I can tell you, when I gave a speech in February in Keeneland, I got to the guy with the microphone, the speaking sound system. His name was Kerry. I said, Kerry, do me a favor. When I get up to speak, can you play this song for me? He said, Mr. Lowe, what? I said, I want you to play this song. Everybody know the song Arthur, theme to Arthur, when you get caught between the moon and New York City? He did. He played it for me. And I walked as slow as I could walk from the back of that room to the front of the room. People said, what is this all about? And I got the microphone. And Martin had a RCS. He said, you all know that song? When you get caught between the moon and New York City, you know it's crazy, but it's true. The horsemen are caught between the moon, which is California, and New York City, which is the Jockey Club. That's who's behind this, the Jockey Club. I now have a copy of the McKinsey report, 8 years ago now. The Jockey Club had done. And they told the Jockey Club, and by, you know the Jockey Club? That's who you get your full papers. You know that part. It's a group of billionaires. With a B, self-appointed billionaires. They get their own little club. They don't like me worth a hoot. But you know what's funny about it? When I left Shepherd College in 1971, instead of going west to WVU for law school, or south, and I've told them all this, or south to University of Virginia to law school, I went north. You know where I went? To the Jockey Club school to be a racing official. When I tell those sophisticated arrogant son of a guns that, they go, "You did?" I said, "Yeah, I wanted to be a racing official. That was my goal in life, to do that. That's where I went." But they give me no time of the day. They don't care about it. They don't care about me or you at all. Zero. Squat. They don't care. They could care less. So I fight this all the time, and I don't, you can tell I lost my voice because I had COVID a month ago, so that's where I lose my voice. But I'm telling you, that's where it all started. So you got Santa Anita, and you got the Jockey Club. And by the way, the New York Racing Association, New York, yeah, they've never agreed, to my knowledge, with Heisman. Never agreed with it. But the Jockey Club, and we now have a list of the funding that the original money came from to support us. All these people have been paid, but we cannot get a hold of what the payroll is. We've been told people make 7 figures, close to 7 figures. And all that money is accumulating now, and some of that money is coming out of every person. It's at $56 a race per horse.
And at January 1, it's $55 now in Charlestown. Come January 1, that assessment that you see is gonna be about $300.
A race?
A race, per horse.
I don't want to jump over there yet, but that's okay.
Per horse.
Yeah, that's not okay.
No, I mean, you all need to
Yeah,
know.
you need to know that. Okay. But the point is this, I'm trying to tell you. So I'm the moon in California. And by the way, when I gave my presentation, I was on the gym, none of them showed up. None of ISIS people came to the room, 300 people. Not one of them came to that table. And don't think I didn't tell the group that. But I told them exactly what was the truth. So now you got the moon in New York City. Guess what? Every stool has to have how many legs? 3. Guess who the third leg was? Who sponsored the legislation? Minority Leader of the U.S. Senate, McConnell. Mitch McConnell. He sponsored it. Well, that figures. Twin Spires. Check to see who his contributors are. Check to see who he got his money from, legally, of course. Twin Spires. So now you got the big guys in California, you got the big guys in New York, not the horsemen, but the Jockey Club. By the way, the McKinsey report, read it. There's 3 or 4 versions. It tells you basically they don't want anybody but the top. They don't want us. They don't want a minor league. They want the NFL. The McKinsey report says you should get all this money from all this advertising.
On their boards, they have
That's who's there.
professional sports league people on
That's
their
who they
boards.
stack their board with. And who's the head lady of the Heisman? She came from the NFL. Read about what she did in the NFL. I'm not going to pick her name personally. Read about what that's all about. It's a stacked deck, but I'm not telling you this to make you gloom and doom. I'm telling you we're still trying to do something about it. I can tell you one more thing. With the legislation...
No, go ahead.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
When the legislation first came out, and you know all this was done in a shroud of secrecy. Nobody knew anything at all. Hardly anything at all. Did you know about it? I didn't know about it. We're on the Racing Commission. We didn't know about it. So it's passed. And there was no input of any knowledge that we have from normal horse people. None. Did they ask you all any questions? They didn't ask me. They asked other people. Some in Maryland on the inside. Now Maryland's joined in, and I could go. Maryland's Stronach, and you know Stronach is Santa Anita. You know Stronach is Gulf Street. So those big guys are going to be probably okay. And I'm not blaming Frank Stronach. I'm not going to blame him at all. I never met the man. I don't blame him. Somebody else in the family could be behind all this. But that's what we're faced with there. So this group.
I'll just make a point when you get a moment.
Okay. So this group has got it where they want it. And if we don't do something along here, it's going to go. And I made this statement in Keeneland in February. I said, you know what you're going to do? You're going to destroy Middle America racing. That's my terminology. The tens of thousands of people that you talked about, Dr. Casey, the tens of thousands will have nothing. And the thousands, I said in this speech, and the thousands of horses, what are you going to do with those? You send them to Japan so people can eat them?
Well, I think this really makes the point that we really need to be all together on November 15th. So, and take your good counsel about having people look us in the eye and tell us what we do and not ask for anything. I think the legislators will know about it, but I will say there is a bright note in West Virginia, and that is our Attorney General, and he has not opposed the safety aspects, but he has opposed the constitutionality of it, and that has slowed the roll, and that has given us the opportunity to get the horsemen involved. And I think that's a really good point where we're being. I appreciate all you have done for us with the Racing Commission and the fight you've done, what's going on, and everyone needs to be aware of it. Judy's got it,
I can
so
tell you
I
more if you want
appreciate you,
more.
but we'll.
Okay, I'll try to wrap it up. I get fired up because I know what's happening. I know what's happening to you. I know what's happening to me, everybody else. We got to do something. I wanted to tell you real quickly. And yes, the Attorney General has been a big help. West Virginia, we were the first state. Louisiana was second. We were the first two states to file a legal battle against it. And what's his name?
Patrick Morris.
Patrick was right there. Patrick, he jumped right.
So, and I think that's really a good point, is that he's interested in protecting what would be considered, not derogatory, but not the elite, but a minor league and a feeder league. Like every sport has a minor and a feeder league. So we really appreciate all you do.
One more point.
Okay.
It's very important. Very important. Maybe you guys get a kick, and gals will get a kick out of this. I formerly served on the National Advisory Council for Small Business Administration, independent, appointed by Byrd. And I learned a lot about small business administration. I determined with some research, that act was written in 1952, that HISA is in violation of the SBA Act. Simply because the SBA, Small Business Administration, they are there to represent small business. I told that group and others, every one of you is a small business. Why? Because you're less than 500 employees, and you hire people, and you do your jobs. Every one of you is a small business.
I think that's what we are going to say on November 15th, that every one of us is a small business. So.
One more thing. I know you're pushing me. One more thing.
I'm going to take it from you.
All right, well, you got me started. When I made this presentation,
Take it from her, I'm gonna say something else.
all right, when
I
I
want to
made
make
this,
sure everybody gets a chance for questions and interactions.
when I made the presentation about the SBA, there was no talk about the Small Business Administration. But you know what happened in August? In August, certain members of Congress got the HISA, got the Federal Trade Commission, who's the disguise, the mask of HISA. They included the SBA would agree with what the Federal Trade Commission did. I think that's illegal too, and Mr. Morrison will know about that also. I can talk
Thank
about
you,
that.
Ken.